As many of you know, since the summertime, I've been working on my Oracle deck using my very special Puma, Wally. And this will be called Wally's World, 3 3/4 by 5.5 inches. So that's like your standard Oracle size. You know, if you had like a Lucy Cavendish deck, you know, it's that standard Oracle size. The font that I'm using on here is really just for the numbers, because I have to number the cards so that it can go along with the guidebook. And the guidebook, I don't really want it to be too in-depth. It's really just going to be people sharing their stories of the pictures that they submitted, why that site is sacred to them. So these are like personal sacred sites. You know, and the location of the site. Some people will want to remain anonymous, but this is like our deck. This is our, you know, community deck, and I'm so excited about it. So anyway, the font for the numbers is Snail Roundhand 8-point that I'm using with Photoshop. And so let me just kind of talk about you know, what's here. So these are going to be the backs of my cards, and I've just been really, you know, for I would say like maybe a couple years, just getting this feeling of like I need to create an Oracle deck, and it needs to be something with Wally. And I was like, okay, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And so this just kind of came together, you know, just me being guided and just trusting, and you know, and it's not like I'm not making it to like maybe sell a bunch of copies, but I just really feel like it just needs to be made. So maybe it's just, you know, I don't know, universe, spirit just needed me for some reason to make this, you know, and it's just like maybe for my own healing journey. You know, maybe there are a couple of people just need to see the images, and maybe that's it, and that's cool. But anyway, so for the backs of my cards, in blue here, this is actually a collage of hemimorphite that I have. So I took several pictures of my own hemimorphite, and then I kind of cut them up in Photoshop and made it look like ice. So to me, I really love the blue, as that connects to the throat chakra. And that I think that being able to say aloud that we need healing is part of the healing process. You know, oftentimes we like to keep that hidden sometimes. And plus I feel hemimorphite is very, very healing, especially for me. You know, if I'm needing a little bit of TLC, I will carry a piece of hemimorphite with me. This here is my reddish orange rose, which I have a couple of different roses in my garden, but this is one of my, or actually I have a few different roses, but this is my favorite type of rose, and it doesn't make roses very often. So it's very special to me. So I have it here as the main like centerpiece of this this back card, or I mean the backs of the cards. And then here, very lightly, you can see the seed of life, because I believe for this healing journey that it's at the very beginning. It's not the whole flower of life, because we're not at the end yet. You know, this is supposed to be a healing journey. So, you know, we're all in this journey together. So I love this seed of life. Okay, so moving over here to our cards, we have card number 1, and one of my awesome peeps that follows me on YouTube sent me this picture, and this is, I believe, her horse Charlie. And she said basically a sacred site is wherever she is on the back of her horse, you know, so wherever her horse is looking out, this would be considered sacred to her. So this act of just being on the horse is a sacred site for her, a sacred place to be. So let's talk about what's going on in here, and then that will explain the rest of the cards. Okay, so all these flowers that you see along the border here, normally I'm not a borders type person, you know, but I really kept feeling that, okay, you need to make your roses your border. And I'm like, what? But I hate borders. So here's the thing. I have my white roses, which I consider very healing. I consider all my roses very healing. At the 4 corners, I have my beautiful red roses. And then east to west, I have my even more rare red and orange roses. So looking through this is like a portal. So you're looking through this window of roses out into this beautiful sacred site. You know, what's been considered sacred to people who have submitted these photographs. You have a yellow circle here, a yellow circle here, a yellow triangle up, a yellow triangle down. So here you have fire, earth, and to me this is, you know, infinite. I know it's not the infinity symbol, but you know, a circle is, you know, when you think of, if you want to get like sciencey, it's the least restrictive, easiest thing for matter to be is in a circle. Energy is in a circle. You know, it's just the easiest thing for energy, and so I just feel that this is very energetic. It lends power to the picture that's here. So in yellow here, I want that to be brushed gold, a la, I would say, Moonchild Tarot or the Star Child Tarot. So yes, these would be brushed gold, and these triangles that are in yellow would also be brushed gold. So they're not going to stay yellow. Okay, so also, since this is Wally's world, I want him to be this healing guide in this world. So with our spirit guides, they're not always in the forefront. They're not always smack dab in front of our face. Sometimes we have to search for them. Sometimes it's just good knowing that they're there. So Wally's never going to be in the forefront of any of these pictures. He's going to be somewhere in the pictures because you know that your guide is always somewhere with you, but they are always with you on your journey. So in this picture we have Wally here, but I won't point him out in all the pictures. I'll leave that up to you guys to find him, as is the journey for, you know, finding our guides, finding ourselves, finding our healing. So here we go. Let's go through the pictures. So this one is number 1. I wanted it to be kind of like the Fool card in tarot. I love the horse. I love the setting out on a journey. Okay, so here we go. And in the guidebook, I will have a list of where all these places are. These ones I know for sure are in China because I took them. I was in Beijing, I was in Shanghai, I was in Suzhou, I was in Hangzhou. I was in many parts of China. I kind of flew around China. So there's those, and then this is another submitted one. This one my dad submitted when he was in Hawaii. And I didn't want the pictures to be perfect, you know, not like I just found them perfect, you know, some, you know, off of Google or anything. You know, I wanted them to look like, you know, somebody who's not a professional photographer took them. I mean, I am a professional photographer, so, you know, my images are in here. And then there are some people that do photography for a living, and they did submit some of their pictures. But really, I just wanted them to look like very personal, like just somebody just like busted out their phone. They're like, hey, this is my secret site. I wanted it to feel real. I didn't want it to look fake or set up. Okay, so I stopped at card number 13, which, as we know, is like transformation or death in the tarot. And on the snowy mountain with this beautiful morning sun coming in, actually this is Mammoth, where I love to go snowboarding, we have a picture of my boyfriend's old cat, Herb. And he died at 18 and a half years old, but my boyfriend, like that, Herb was his dude. And so I already feel like he's transitioned, you know, he didn't really hang around for long, but he's always off on his own little journey, so I wanted to get him at card number 13. Okay, so let's move on. So yes, we also have Wally in this picture. This picture, a lot more somber. This is actually my grandfather on his funeral, or on his funeral day. This is downtown San Diego. This is our Jack Murphy Stadium, also known as Qualcomm Stadium, lit up with fireworks. This is known as the Desert Tower here in San Diego. This is Crystal Pier in Pacific Beach. It's another submitted photograph. And my very special bamboo in my garden. This was taken in Italy. Italy. There's quite a few Italy pictures just because I feel a very, very deep personal connection to Italy. Okay, this was at my friend. Every year he holds a Dia de los Muertos party. You know, so very tail end of October, beginning of November. And it's such a powerful time to be together at that party. This is December nights in Balboa Park here in San Diego. This is Ocean Beach near Hodad's, which is it's just magical down there. I just love it. This is another submitted photograph. These next ones will be submitted photographs. And feel free to pause this video anytime, you know, you want to check it out. That was a moon picture that I took, and I love all the little stars. It's so awesome. This was another submitted photo. It's actually looking out past my house at the reservoir. This is looking out into my backyard at the sunrise. Actually, my best friend since like 7th grade, he took this out in Arizona. This is also in Arizona. This is in Tombstone, and this is a gigantic rose tree, by the way. Like, it's massive. This is also in Tombstone. My friend in Arizona also took this. My friend, the opera star, she took this. This is the Met, where she went to the Met and saw her first opera there. She saw L'Amour. And then she went back to the Met, now that she's, well, I won't say her age, but she's much older now. And she got her very first contract with the Met. And guess what the opera was that was playing as she was there getting her contract? It was L'Amour. So she found some synchronicities there. It was kind of like coming full circle. So that was a very sacred time for her. And this was another submitted photo. Another one. This is from my dad and my stepmom. They went to Machu Picchu. Another awesome photo submitted by one of you awesome peeps. And the colors in the sky were pretty awesome on this day. This is a sunrise near my house. This is another friend of mine. I'll have to ask her where she took this. Yeah. But I'll be making a guidebook, so don't worry, all this will get explained. Another one of my friends submitted that. Another one of my awesome homies here submitted this. My friend Steph submitted this from Belgium. Yeah, these are great. I love them. They're so pretty. You know, some pictures have more grain than others, and I'm like kind of cool with that because I want them to be, you know, pretty OG. Okay, card number 64 I spent a little bit more time on because I wanted there to be 64 cards because 6 plus 4 is 10. The 1 meaning like a very powerful beginning, you know, and a 0 full circle. So, you know, 10, if we think of like the 10 of swords or 10 of anything, it's kind of like a completion. And so with the 64, I wanted my old cat Presley, who my boyfriend and I miss dearly. You know, he's always hanging around our house. He's forever the little healer, the nurse. We always called him Nurse Presley. You know, it didn't matter how he was feeling. He was always looking over the well-being of others. And so here he is in this deck looking over your well-being. So his ending is helping you with your beginning. And so you see that I have him outlined in yellow. I actually want that to be in brushed gold, you know, because I see him as our little angel. This is the front of our house. I did put one of my roses on the front of my truck. You know, you guys don't need to see my license plate number, but plus I thought that kind of looked cool there. But yeah, so, and then, you know, obviously I have the numbers, you know, off to the side here. I didn't want them to be too distracting. So yeah, so my next plan is I need to start looking for somebody to help just make a print one do a test run of this deck, just kind of see how it looks. You know, do I need to tweak anything? How are the colors? Do I need to tweak anything in Photoshop before, you know, I do another run? So it probably will be a couple of test runs, and then, you know, checking out the different types of brush gold, you know, depending on who the printer is, and I might be looking overseas. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas of like who I could get in touch with for printers, but you know, I'm going to be doing my own little sleuthing here. So anyway, yeah, here's my deck, and my awesome peeps over on Patreon are definitely helping me to get this deck off the ground, but you know, I'm going to need a lot more support. You know, that's why people do things like Kickstarter and, you know, and all of that, just to help get their dreams out there. And so this is my thing. This is something I'm so proud of. And yeah, so if you feel like you want to back this, you want to support this, you want to help get this off the ground, then head over to my KWT tribe over at